Hi, I'm Di with Sister Chicks Quilting and welcome to my channel today. I am back in my happy place, my sewing room with you. That just makes me so happy. And there is the cutest quilt on the wall. This is called a Crossroads quilt. I have to tell you the story behind this quilt. The first time I saw it, I was at Quilt Retreat and I was sewing next to Joanne, or Joanne made the Aqua Block in our Scrap Jar Stars, so we'll call her Aqua Block. Aqua Block was strip piecing all of these 2.5-inch strips together, and I wasn't impressed. It was just jumbled and wasn't looking great. And I said, "Do you have a pattern?" She goes, "Well, I saw a video." And she just had some notes written on a piece of paper. Well, the thing about Aqua Block, or Joanne, is that she's really good in the head with math. She's like the engineer. She can check my math. Anyway, she says, "Oh, it's just so easy. I can just see how it's done." And it's made with 2 pieces, 2 blocks. This is one. This is called a 16 patch. Super simple, right guys? And this is what it looks like on the back. So, anyway, so you make a 16 patch, and then you make a block that looks like a white X. And you can see that it's crossing. That's where it got the name Crossroads. So I wanted to make this quilt, and I looked and looked, and there is a video tutorial by Jenny Doan, but I couldn't find a pattern out there anywhere. I've seen several bloggers make it, and they put what they needed out there. I thought it would be a great way to bust some of my scraps. Back to the story with Aqua Block Joanne. She was making it, and I was like, it just looks too busy for me. Then she started putting the blocks together. Here's one block, and my eyes went, wow, oh my goodness, I love the look of this block. And this quilt is so cute. She made this little baby quilt, and there's a small border around it that I'm going to give you the measurements for, and that has the little snowball, those corners. But what I'd like to do is teach you how to make these 2 blocks so you can make your own Crossroads quilt. So what is it going to take for you to make this quilt? Well, a big pile of 2.5-inch scraps, or it can be made with a jelly roll. One jelly roll will complete a quilt that is 8 rows long by 6 rows wide. And then you're going to need about 2¼ yards of background fabric, and use a contrasting color or one with a different value. Let's talk about color and value. So in my block, you can see that I've used 4 colors: red, blue, green, and yellow. In every block, I have them arranged differently, and I have different pieces of fabric that read red, green, blue, or yellow. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. I meant to show this block. And this is the X block, and there's the same colors. And it doesn't matter what's on the fabric as long as it reads red. It doesn't matter that that's Star Wars fabric. This is Hawaiian fabric. Japanese fabric. It reads yellow, and that one reads red. Why is color so important? Well, I have a long history of color. I was an art major in college, so I studied color. I love color. It fills my life. I use it to accessorize my home, my clothing, and I also pick my chickens by color, because you don't want a flock that's all the same. That's boring. Anyway, color's important. It's especially important when you're putting scrappy quilts together. And I look at my jumbled pile of 2.5-inch strips and you think, oh, there's nothing there. But if you sort them out by color, there's all different varieties of blues, greens, yellows, reds, etc. And then if you combine those colors and use the same main color in your quilt is going to look coordinated. It's going to look planned. It's going to look like it was meant to be that way on purpose. If you don't pay attention to color or value, you could have a quilt that is just a jumbled mess. For instance, I was showing my girlfriend my scrappy trip around the world, and she says, "Oh, I love how yours looks so coordinated." Do you remember I used 6 colors in that quilt? And each block had the same color in the same position. So it made an incredible pattern. And I'll go ahead and link that video below so you can go back and take a look at that quilt if you want. But she says, let me show you mine. And she takes it out. We lay them side by side. She had really, really cute fabric in there, guys. I mean, she's the queen of cute fabric. But she said, mine looks like it just was fabric that was thrown up. No rhyme nor reason. That's the importance of color. Now let's talk about value. Value, for those of you who have never paid attention or not known, is dark over here and light over here. And there's a big scale that's gradient. And so that is the value. That's why, never mind, I won't get into that. But the best way to see if your quilt is going to jive, it's going to look coordinated, it's going to look balanced, is when you have it on your quilt wall, take a photograph of it in black and white. All of your smartphones have a black and white setting. Take a look at that and your eyes will go, wow, I had no idea, if you're not already doing it. This shows the values, and it will tell you where you have maybe a bunch of really strong blocks here and really light blocks here. And you may want to mix those up to make them look a little more planned and on purpose. That way you're not going to have a quilt that looks like it's just been fabric thrown up. So that's your lesson on value and color. Why don't we get to the machine so I can show you how to make these blocks. Now, I don't know that you need to be taught how to make a 16 patch block, but I will tell you, so your block lays flat, you want all of your seams pressed in the same directions. And to do that, it does take some putting it together the same way or planning. So what I do is I lay all of my pieces out on a design board, and then I sew this row, this row, this row, this row, and then I piece them together in order. So they turn out and they look like they're done on purpose. This X block is pretty fun to lay out. Now, you make the squares. This is not a 5-inch square, it's a 4.5-inch square. And we're going to use the snowball method on this. So let's put a green here in this corner and a blue here. How about a red across from the blue? You're going to snowball the outside corners, and then a yellow. Okay, and on this block you want to do the same layout, and when you're done snowballing these, they're going to look, well, I'll show you. So what you want to do is you want to sew diagonally on this seam, so the corners of every block are snowballed. Let's go ahead and do that. Now, I don't use a rotary cutter. I just snip the corners off like that. And then I take them to the iron, set the seam, and press them. Now that they're pressed, we're going to want to lay them out so we like the looks of them, and this is how we lay them out. And there's your X. So you fold this over, sew these two together, fold this over, and sew these two together, matching, of course, the points or the colored parts. And you know, folks, I have a couple that aren't matched perfectly. I don't have any heartburn over it. When someone looks at the quilt, they're not going to see it. See how that comes together? When I sew this one, I don't even iron them yet. I just nest the center seams, put a pin in, and match these two lines where the colored parts are. And then we'll have a block. And ta-da, there is the X block. It is really that simple, guys. Let me iron this, and then I'm going to take you to the design wall, and I'm going to show you how cute my quilt is going to be. Well, I need to finish a couple of more cross blocks. But what do you think of those colors? Don't they look great? Now, let me show you these corner pieces. All you do is snowball one corner. And this is how you do the border. Let's see. I'm going to make them opposite. Again, this is a 4.5-inch block. Let's see, I want a blue one. Oh, I don't have a blue one. There we go. And that's going to make a really nice border all the way around the quilt and finish off. It will finish off this little setting square and look very finished. Isn't that just cute? What we'll do is just put a white 4.5-inch square in the corner. But folks, that is it. That is my scrappy Crossroads quilt. And oh, I made a mistake. Did you guys see my mistake? I looked on the camera and thought, what in the world? I thought I made a mistake. How about this? This looks a whole lot better. You know what? I'm thankful for design walls. There, now that looks a lot better. And don't the little corners give it just a finished look? I think this is so cute. Let me give you some other options with this quilt. You're going to love this. Okay, this one was another top that Joanne made, or Aqua Block as we should call her. You know, that should be our superpower, don't you think? Aqua Block sounds really cool, but mine Green Block sounds kind of boring. But anyway, as you can see, she's used some mixed creams or tans or browns in, and this has really got, I just think this is so cute, and it's got really a harvesty, I don't know, it's a fall colored quilt. And by the way, she has 9 rows down on this. So this quilt measures 80 by 70-ish, okay? Let me show you this one. This one I love, 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 love. Sorry, Mr. Engineer. This one measures 65 by 80. And that's closer to what mine on the wall is going to make, because I'm going to have 8 rows down. But let me, can you tell? Let's see. Can you tell what she has done on this one? take a look. So she made all of the points on the squares out of the same fabric, and then she didn't like the looks of that. So she decided to snowball the corner of each of the 16-piece triangles. And look at that incredible star it makes. I think this one is phenomenal. And just so many options. And then, of course, she didn't do white or brown or gray. She did another pattern piece, but it reads tan. So again, this is like a fall quilt with these beautiful rich fall colors in it. But I just can't believe the difference that the blue points makes. I want to make a quilt like this, and I just think it's so rich looking with all that blue. You know why it's so rich looking? It's color, the magic of color. So it doesn't look scrappy, it looks planned, but I know how she sews. This is very scrappy. Thanks for joining me today. I really appreciated you coming along my quilting journey with me, and I hope you learned something. I'm going to go ahead and put a link to Jenny Doan's video. She teaches the same thing I do. I didn't find a pattern out there for it. Anyway, it's one that's been around forever, so enjoy making this quilt, enjoy scrap busting, and next week I have a fun quilt that I'm going to post. I need a baby quilt, so I'm using half square triangles, and I'm making a baby quilt for this little boy. I can't wait. But next Wednesday, guess where I'm going? To retreat with my quilting sisters. 2 of them can't come. We're very, very sad. Family and health issues, but you know what? We love them. We're going to miss them, but we're going to go anyway, and we're going to put together all of our scrap jar star quilts for a wonderful group photo for what we have. I know Aqua Block can't make it this time. We're hoping she sends her finished quilt up so we can see it and take pictures of it. But I will give you a report on that in 2 weeks, and next week, fun baby quilt. And it's really modern, slick looking, and it's made out of my stash. Isn't that great? Bye. See you next week.